Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey watching Colt and Larissa. She pronounces it Larissa, so I'm going to stick with that pronunciation. On 90 Day Fiancé, and my name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist, a professor, and a YouTuber, and I'm going to react as I watch the show.
Did Colt give you a budget?
You say 1,000 or less?
Or less? I like the last part. I understand they have some really pretty dresses here. We'll find out.
Yeah. When I met Colt, before I came to America, he said, I can buy everything that I want. But Colt lie a little bit, and it is a pain in my ass.
Okay, interesting. So we've heard thus far from Larissa that she is very upset and very critical of Colt for not spending more money on her. And I think I remember speculating or wondering if Colt had given her the impression that he had a lot of money and that he would spend a lot of money on her. And so her criticism of him was justified in that he had given her the wrong impression. And she just indicated that before she came up, that he said that he had all this money and he would spend it on her. Now, if Colt were there to defend himself, what would he say? Might he say something like, well, I didn't exactly say I was going to spend a lot of money on you, but I did say that I was going to enjoy, spending money and being romantic, or whatever he might say, who knows. But there's a possibility that he has been deceptive. Why would someone do that? Well, usually it's because of insecurity. You're worried that you're not going to have a attachment with someone, so you're trying to trick them into liking you. It doesn't usually work, of course, because it destroys trust, that sort of thing. So that would be my guess for him. I could absolutely imagine him falling in love with her, wanting to be in a relationship with her, as she starts to talk about how she wants him to spend money on her. He starts to make promises that he can't keep, gives the wrong impression, or fails to give the opposite impression, like, okay, but just let you know before you come up here, I'm not a rich person. I just want to be clear about that. So, we don't know the full story, but she just indicated that. So let's continue watching.
And the woman and the woman love to give support to each other, especially in America.
Well, let's go do this.
For my dream wedding dress, I would like something with a really long train, mermaid style, with a lot of little details that's sparkling. And it should cost $100,000 because, dream has no price.
Okay, so she's exhibited this attitude up until this point, but this is a very stark example of this attitude that she has, where she understands, I'm guessing, that there's a budget of $1,000 that Colt has laid out. I would hope the two of them would work together on the budget so that she would understand there's this amount of dollars and how do we prioritize that, and that she would be involved in the decision-making of that, because she seems to really be mildly obsessive about buying things and wanting expensive things. So having her be involved more would help. I'm guessing Colt is like, well, we're not married yet, and so I don't really trust her enough. But anyway, she has exhibited that she always wants the most expensive thing, or at least expensive things, and she doesn't seem to be sympathetic to Colt's budgetary concerns. Colt doesn't appear to be very rich. Now, maybe he is. Maybe he's a billionaire, and Larissa is like, I don't understand why he doesn't spend the money. He certainly doesn't seem to be on an unlimited budget. So Colt has laid out for her, I have $1,000 for the dress. Some of you out there might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of money for a dress. Others of you might be thinking, that's not enough to buy a good dress. So, there's different ideas about how much a dress should cost. For her, she wants the most expensive one. She wants $100,000 dress. Nothing wrong with that. But there's something odd to me that she doesn't have sympathy for Colt and his situation, or she is determined to make Colt feel bad, or the other hypothesis that I've been throwing out there, which I don't know, this is a total speculation, is that she was emotionally neglected growing up, and she has determined early in life that when people give her gifts, that temporarily gives her a little bit of attachment security. And so she's constantly looking for that attachment security of spend money on me, put effort into these kinds of things, and then I'll feel okay. And I don't feel okay if you don't do that for me. a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are neglected, and for one reason or another will gravitate towards that defense of, well, I'm not going to get love and attention, so maybe at least I can get people to buy things for me, and that'll give me a temporary blip of attachment security that I can depend on, because there's no use trying to go for other types of attachment security. That conceptualization would explain a lot of her behavior in her efforts to gain more, to have Colt spend more money on her. These kinds of defenses usually will shoot ourselves in the foot, because as she continues to do this, one, Colt is going to be turned off by that and actually might reject her. And two, it's an impossible situation. Colt can't possibly keep up with what she wants, and thus she's going to walk away feeling neglected. So it's just a repetition compulsion of the past. If you're curious about what repetition, I will sometimes refer to that. It's an old Freudian term that has been modified for contemporary psychoanalytic people like myself. And I did a patron-only episode not too long ago. So if you become a patron, you get access to the episode in which I talk about repetition compulsion, and actually the Oedipus complex as well, which has some ridiculous features to it, but actually has some validity to it as well. Anyway, let's get back to the show.
I always say, Colt, wedding dress is to look classic, pure, not like a slut. I hope we'll find the wedding dress Colt and I both like.
You ready?
Yes.
Wonderful. Here comes the bride.
Oh, wow. I love that one.
Oh my, that's beautiful.
That one's beautiful.
Wow.
Oh, it's so pretty.
This dress can be also enhanced with this belt. So you can dress it up or you can keep it simple. However,
So it's nice to see the mom, Debbie, and Larissa bonding a little bit in this moment, having a positive experience. It's good.
you like.
I feel like an angel, pure. The problem is my future husband like things sex, so I love the dress, but I would like to try something more nasty, Please, Colt.
But we can definitely try you in a different dress that would be more forfeiting and see how you feel about that one.
Okay, that's interesting. So she's saying that Colt doesn't want a conservative dress. I have to say that dress isn't extremely conservative, and that Colt would like something more revealing, and she doesn't want that, and yet she's going to try on the dress. So yeah, it's unfortunate that she feels like she has to compromise her wishes in that way.
Sexy, Dad, be ready.
What kind of dress do you think that you should get?
I don't think they're going to have anything here. We're in our price range.
Yeah.
Colt only wants to spend $1,000 or less.
When you're on a budget, you need to go with what your budget is,
Yeah, he's got to save money. He's got to pay for the green card. He's got to,
there's a lot going on,
a lot of
definitely.
expenses.
So wait a second. They are at a boutique wedding dress shop that doesn't probably have any dresses within their budget. Why are they even there? They went to that one very fancy condo. It was like multiple stories and fully furnished and way out of their price range. They were shown a car at the car lot that was way above his budget, and he wasn't able to afford it. And now they're at a wedding dress shop that is automatically out of budget. Why are they even there? Makes me worried, pre-worried about the conflict that will inevitably happen as Larissa is told that her dream dress cannot be afforded by Colt. And of course, Debbie is going to have to deliver the bad news, and it'll cause more friction. It's just a recipe for disaster.
Song, please.
Oh my goodness.
Please do. That's cute.
Oh my goodness.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, I like that. That's
Wow.
cute.
It's beautiful. It
It's
looks
beautiful.
sexy.
Yeah, it does look sexy.
And the price?
So this one is $2,400.
So it's out of the budget. Why even try it on? I don't understand this process. It's automatically going to cause problems. Now, if I was Debbie And I was to remain differentiated and not triangulated by what's happening. Because right now, the conflict is between Colt and Larissa. Colt wants it to be $1,000. Larissa probably wants a more expensive dress. And Debbie is dragged into this, and she is now supposed to fight Colt's fight for her or something. And the conflict between Colt and Larissa is now potentially transferred to between Debbie and Larissa. And Debbie and Larissa do not have a strong enough relationship to withstand this kind of conflict. So if I were Debbie, I'd be like, okay, I want to say something to advocate for my son, but this isn't my fight. I feel pulled into this, and but I'm not going to get in the middle of this. This is between my son and his girlfriend, and they're just going to have to work this out. So I'm just going to support her decision. I'll be like, yeah, it's a great dress, and it sounds like it's above what Colt said was the budget, but that is it's not my jurisdiction to get involved in that. So I'm sure you and Colt will figure it out. That's what I would do. Let's watch.
That's too much. You're on a budget.
But it's just once in a life, Debbie. I just will get married once, and I want my dream wedding dress.
So I'm also confused because she said she did not want the revealing dress. She wanted a more conservative dress. And she tried on the more revealing dress, and that's the dress she wants? I don't understand what's happening.
Debbie likes to control the situation. I need to show to her that I can do whatever I want.
In America, the bride's family pays for the wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Will you pay for your dress?
Every family's different.
Very good answer from the person there. So I just want to rewind and watch that clip because I think it says a lot about Larissa's mindset or something. Let's rewatch that.
But Debbie likes to control the situation. I need to show to her that I can do whatever I want.
So just let that sink in. Now, as I've said before, if she were involved with someone different than Colt, then I can see that working. I could see that attitude of, I want to be showered with gifts, I want what I want, and I want to be given it, and that's how I want my love life to be like. I want to be showered with gifts. That's what makes me feel special on the inside. There's a person out there that will absolutely want to be with Larissa and want to love Larissa in that way. Colt does not seem to be that way at all. So there's nothing wrong with both people having those preferences of love or their lifestyle. But there is something inherently destructive about engaging in a relationship when you have that automatic, ingrained incompatibility, especially if neither one of them is willing to change. So one of them has to change that in order for the relationship to work, probably. There's a chance that it could work out with this difference, but either Larissa has to change the way that she considers love to be communicated to her, or Colt has to make more money and also change the way that he loves other people. At least that's the way it looks to me. Let's continue watching.
In America, the bride's family pays for the wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Will you pay for your dress?
Every family's different.
But no, tradition. Tradition stands, the bride pays for the wedding. That's tradition.
So now the mom's really digging in. Up until this point, I felt like the mom was reacting in a normal way. People could see it as a problem that she's so attached to her adult son. But for the most part, I was like, well, she probably comes from trauma. She's still grieving the loss of her husband. And there's some leeway there. Right now, she's starting to dig in on something that I don't think is fair. She's essentially saying, Colt shouldn't have to even buy your dress. Your family in Brazil, I think she's from Brazil, right, should have to buy your dress for you. And that's our tradition. And then the helper, she says, well, every family's different, which is true. I mean, every family is different, even in the United States. And so Debbie seems to be really taking on Colt and Larissa's fight right here. Debbie's really digging in. I think she's also starting to reveal something that's been brewing for a long time, which is that she does not want Larissa in Colt's life. that she doesn't want Larissa in her life. And I think there's some valid reasons for that. I think that Larissa has been against Debbie from the beginning, but Debbie's been against Larissa from the beginning. So there's that. But I also think that it's probably a issue of, as I've been speculating, Debbie does not have support in her life outside of Colt. And she is quite fragile. And she has a hard time doing things on her own. We've seen this in Smothered. I actually will react to that TV show as well. We will tend to pathologize that and say, like, Debbie, there's something she's controlling, and Colt is a mama's boy, without looking a little deeper and understanding that most people come from traumas and odd behavior or behavior that we look at and say, like, what's going on there? It almost always comes from a logical place of trauma defenses. So anyway, I just can't imagine. I mean, what does Debbie hope in this situation? That Larissa is going to be like, oh, okay, thank you, Debbie. Now I will ask my parents to buy me a dress that they cannot afford. Like, I don't understand what her point is in this situation.
I guess he could use the money he was going to get for your green card or use it for the dress. You don't have to get a green card right away.
No, my green card is more important.
It's $1,000.
I mean, it's a logical point. I will give Debbie that there's a certain amount of dollars, and some of it has to be taken up by green card stuff, wedding dress, catering, car, new home. Like, there's a budget there, and the green card budget is a part of that. But of course, for the mom to point it out, it's antagonistic at best.
$1,000 for your green card. You want to put the $1,000 along with the $1,000 for the dress and hold off another 6 months for your green card?
That's crazy. Don't apply for the green card or buy my wedding dress. I think that she should to be more flexible.
No, we can talk about that.
Colt can do both.
So you just saw that smile, and again, I just want to rewatch that. Colt can do both. And it's like, yeah, probably, but then something else has to give. Your ability to buy a home that you want, or the car that you want, or the wedding ceremony that you want. Like, she doesn't ever exhibit this understanding of there's a fixed amount of money. Again, I think she's intelligent enough to know that. I really doubt that she doesn't understand that. So why would she be so flippant about it? As I've been saying before, maybe Colt did trick her. Maybe it's the way she likes to be loved. But it's just such an interesting quirk that I'm observing. Please comment below, because I don't know. When I'm watching her, I don't know what people are saying about her. But I find that this fixation, if you will, on wanting more and more expensive things that Colt clearly cannot afford is notable. But I don't know. Maybe I'm off. Let me know.
I think that she should to be more flexible.
No, we can talk about that.
Colt can do both. I will try to convince him.
I think she thinks Colt's going to say okay to the dress, and she's not going to be able to talk him into it. He'd rather see you in a sexy nightgown after the wedding.
Yeah, true that.
Colt is very cautious about his money. I mean, he just doesn't want to spend that kind of money on a dress.
Yeah,
it's
he
ridiculous.
wants to be responsible, yeah.
He's spending a fortune on her as it is.
Okay, somehow I wish I could see how much money Colt has, just so I would understand. Because if he does have a lot of money, what Larissa is asking for is actually within his budget, then that would give me some more context. But we've been given the impression that he can't possibly afford everything that she wants. But maybe he can afford everything that she wants. I don't know.
It's
Perfect.
perfect. It's really perfect dress.
It's up to him.
I moved all the way from Brazil to marry Colt, and I don't like his mother controlling everything.
Again, I'm confused because she said she wanted the conservative dress, and she was only trying on the more revealing dress because Colt wanted her to try it on, and she was putting down Colt. She was like, he wants me to wear a slutty dress, so I guess I'll put one on to please him. And then I felt bad. I was like, oh no, Larissa, you should have the dress that you want. Particularly, you shouldn't be wearing a dress that you feel is too revealing. But then she tries it on and then she likes the dress. So I'm confused.
She said no to the coat that I wanted, and now she say no for my wedding dress.
Right. So I wonder what's going on in this family that Debbie is being triangulated in. It's not fair to Debbie. Colt has these preferences and Debbie is being dragged into it. And that is not going to work for this threesome, this relationship. If you are a Colt out there, you want to not have your mother and your new relationship fighting with each other. And you want to do what you can to avoid that, which means helping them to bond and not introducing stress to the system. Like Colt could tell Debbie, so Debbie, Mom, do not get involved in my fights with Larissa. I will have my own conflict with Larissa about budgets. Mom, do not get involved in that. That's my job to get involved with Larissa. I want you to be free from that. Just be her friend. You're going to the wedding dress store. Let her try on what she wants to and just have a good time. And do not get involved in any kind of budgetary talks because that's not going to go well. That's what I might have said. Maybe he did say that. I doubt he did. Let's watch the show.
Larissa and my mother went shopping for a wedding dress, but the dress Larissa chose costed $2,000. I think it's ridiculous to spend that much money on a dress that she's only going to wear once. Honestly, I want the budget for the dress to be as low as possible. It's only a few weeks now before the wedding, but there's a lot of tension right now between Larissa and my family. So I decided to have a barbecue today in the hopes of having a fresh start and just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, okay. But, dude, you gotta have a sit down with your future wife about budgets and how the two of you are going to work on that. This show frustrates me in this way. I see so many people doing this, and I guess it makes sense when people don't feel like they have a way out of these conflicts. I'm guessing that Colt feels like, what's the point in talking with her because it's not going to go well? But these are important conversations, and people out there, particularly if you're in the beginning of a relationship, don't avoid these things. And if you don't trust that you're going to be able to talk about these things with your spouse, figure out a way that you can. Don't just give up on it. Find a family therapist. Find someone that is good at functional triangulation with the two of you or something. Colt and Larissa need to have a serious series of conversations about budgets because as far as I can tell, that's the primary thing that they fight about. They also fight about Debbie living with them. But this budget thing is just a massive thorn in this relationship side. And until they come to an agreement about how they're going to work together as a team on this issue, then I just can't imagine this going well. And it's just going to escalate, right? All right. Well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.